Taylor, and today I'm going to give you some tips on how to draw something a little bit more challenging than the last video that was for kids. It was an apple. But today I would like to show you how I draw like different kinds of superhero bodies. There's three types. There's heroic, sidekick / teen, and brute. Specifically today though, I want to show you how to draw the heroic body type. I'm going to give you some tips on how to get it to look, like they're going to look different. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I would do that. So your heroic body type is your Captain America. He's really just simple, but he's still much bigger than the average man. But he's smaller than a brute, but bigger than a teen. So he's kind of like in the middle. So how I would approach a body type like this, the first thing is you would do like a circle for the head and your lines, just for like some reference points. And then I always do a line across the shoulder, like where the shoulders would be, because it helps with placement, and especially from like eye to neckline and stuff. And then I recommend doing one right here. This is where his waist would come in, because like most cartoons, comics have really like exaggerated body types. So one of the most important things with this kind of character is the muscles. They're not as defined in this sketch as they will be in a second. I really recommend for this kind of heroic body type looking up pictures of bodybuilders, because the muscle placement is really important here. So it's just defined enough where it will show you where muscles are placed, so you don't have like a random line like going through the chest where there's not going to be a muscle there. So you don't want to put curves where they're not supposed to be. So for like this kind of character, they have pretty wide necks, and they do have really defined shoulders. And their muscles are pretty defined as well. So like this is where a natural muscle line would be, especially when drawing these characters. This is like basically what you would see, is this kind of like these lines here. At least those are the ones I use the most. Characters like this, their waist generally do come in not like super tiny, so it's not like it's coming in like that at all. It's still more realistic than like a cartoon. So it just kind of comes in this like rectangular body, and like not every heroic superhero is going to be the same. It's just a general broad body type that is used. So like Captain America is going to have a different body type than Iron Man, but they both have the heroic shape and style to them, because like one can easily be like bigger than the other. My dog is barking outside. I totally apologize for that. Can't control what animals do. So here they're I always like drawing like the abs pretty like almost normal. I really just start with a line going down some little like, I usually shade at this part. I don't always draw this line, sometimes I do, and then like just giving him some lines because he's usually at like an angle. That's how I would typically draw them. And then while coloring, I usually add shading with marker or pen or something just to give it like some definition. So generally with the pectoral like muscles, they connect almost to this line here because in actual like anatomy, that muscle like pretty much runs into your shoulder, so it pretty much goes out pretty far. So this is like basically just things that you should know about this guy. His head is a pretty good it's generally a good size for his body. So like I'm gonna get to this in another video, but the Brute, his head is generally a little bit smaller in relation to his body in this one. Sorry, my dog is really loud, it's cracking me up. It's pretty normal. Like, this is like bodybuilder, still kind of exaggerated, but still kind of as normal as it gets in relation to like actual people, like an actual man. So like how I would go about shading certain like muscle areas, I usually shade down. Every artist has their own coloring style, shading style. I definitely have my own. I'm a little bit more sketchy with even my coloring. I wouldn't really call it messy. I think it's kind of cool, but it's definitely a sketchier style. But how I shade is pretty simple. It's really just like once you get used to shading, it just happens. Like it just comes really natural, to me at least. So while you're drawing these kinds of characters, just keep in mind that like you don't want to leave like just like lines. I would always go in with like a lot of people tell you not to go in with like just a black like pen or something. If you're doing a character that's generally dark, I'm gonna say go ahead. I do it even on lighter characters, but most people will tell you like if you're using like red, like maybe you should go in with a little bit of a darker red to shade. I usually use something a little bit sharper just so I can like really like stand out. That's totally up to you though. So like when you're actually going about choosing like, oh, how do I want to draw this, like sometimes it can be really intimidating. You'd be like, I'm gonna go ahead and draw a comic book character, but how do I do that? There's no shame in reference. Some people will be like, oh, that's cheating. It's not. It's totally not. Totally go for it. I recommend using like a Pinterest board or somewhere where you can organize photos easily, and I would screenshot them, save them, pin them, and create a board for your references. I have one that has over 2,000 pins of like I said, like bodybuilder images, like so you can have like that muscle placement, and like actual like sketches or like comic book images. There's no shame in copying either when you're like going for it the first time. So this is like how I turned it into a comic book character. I did go in with black, like I said I like to do. I also like color a few different ways. This one is more like, I feel like clean. Other ways are I use multiple colors to layer. You'll see that in a later video. Something I really recommend using, and what I'm getting a lot of this information from, is this book. It's Stan Lee's How to Draw Superheroes book. He pretty much breaks down in this book into more detail, better detail, the 3 body types, as he did like, you know, come up with ideas such as like Captain America, Spider-Man, the Hulk. Like, he knows what he's talking about in this book. So like if you like are really into it, I totally recommend ordering or buying this book because it totally helped me figure out how to actually draw superheroes. It has a lot of good references in it for like female and male body types. I'll go into those in a later video, but today I just wanted to explain to you how to do the heroic body type. Next time I'll probably go into the teen body type. It's a little smaller than this one. I think it's easier and a lot more fun. Like, I love doing the teen heroes. Like, Spider-Man's my favorite. So I'm going to have a lot of fun showing you guys that one. So I really hope that you liked my Captain America demonstration for the heroic body type. I hope you got something out of that, even through the dog barking in the background. So yeah, like, subscribe, I don't know, do what you want, so bye.